scores. We wanted to be able to school to get an A, but this is the first time we've really done a fairly sophisticated dive into the data of what alternative schools do, and we feel like we need to establish cut scores that are our cut scores, not simply, once again, import the traditional schools in, because we have a unique population, and wherever possible, we wish to differentiate ourselves from the traditional schools and make sure that we are using tools that apply to our populations and to the mission we have. Any other questions?
Awesome. Board members, any questions or comments? Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time. Okay, moving right along. I just have one. Do we have any more call to the public sheets? No? Okay. All right. So, Stacy, Bud, if you could come up, state your name for the record, and then you have 3 minutes, and Miss Alexis's timer will go off. So if you could just wrap up your comments.
Okay. My name is Stacy Booty. I'm one of the assistant middle school principals, or the assistant middle school principal at Arizona Connections Academy. So I am submitting this public comment for Heather Noto, Arizona Connections Academy school leader. Arizona Connections Academy is dedicated to providing a high-quality, full-time virtual option to children of all backgrounds, serving students statewide who are currently underserved, including athletes, medically homebound, bullied, homeschooled, with special needs, or simply those who require a flexible schedule. Our school has a diverse student body with students either far ahead of or far behind their peers in school, as well as those in rural communities who need access to a rigorous, full-time, high-quality school with certified teachers. Through technology, ACA offers a wide variety of high-quality classes to students. We are here today because we annually hit our enrollment cap of 2,500 students and would like the ability to serve these additional students. However, ACA was recently put in the Federal Comprehensive Support and Improvement status because our graduation rate is below 67%. We are asking to allow virtual schools an exception to the enrollment cap expansion moratorium on schools in CSI, as our graduation rates are increasing annually, as well as the fact that AOI schools have not been given letter grade ratings, as the state has yet to agree on an AOI system or on a system for AOI schools. ACA's official four-year graduation rate, according to ADE, has increased from 42% to 52% in 2 years. A likely contributing factor to these graduation rates are student withdrawals. We differ from many traditional bricks and mortar schools because students come in and out of school, depending on their educational needs. For our high school students, ACA has a significant number of students that withdraw before the end of their senior year. If these withdrawals are not documented correctly, then these students remain in their graduation cohort and they get counted as non-graduates. It is likely that this is contributing to the graduation rate being under the 67% as a threshold. While we take responsibility for tracking students, our number of withdrawals are significantly high and could impact our graduation rates by 10% or more. Here are some examples. So our class of 2018, the withdrawal rate the range was 49% to somewhere between 63 to 69%. And for our class of 2019, our withdrawal rate range was from 52% to somewhere between 65 to 71%. Thank you for listening to our public comment, and please consider allowing Arizona Connections Academy to increase its enrollment cap. We want to meet the needs of Arizona's diverse student population as we take additional measures to work with ADE to better track our student withdrawals, while also keeping our focus on improving student opportunities through a high school diploma and increasing our students who graduate. Thank you.
Okay. Good job. Any questions, board members? I do know, Joanna, that we potentially wanted to direct staff to have a conversation with ACA later, just to talk about this idea of online in that CSI, as well as grad rates. I know I'm just dealing with an online school myself with what to do with withdrawals and figure all that out, and it was difficult actually getting some answers from the state of what exactly you should do in regards to that. So I want to have an opportunity to have that conversation with board staff.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. All right. Awesome. Moving right along. So consent agenda. Board members, did anybody want to move anything off the consent agenda? And if not, is there a motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Perfect. Thank you, Hans. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Dr. Crockett with the second.
Okay. Vice President Lee,
Aye.
Superintendent Hoffman,
Aye.
Dr. Crockett?
Aye.
Mr. Close?
Yes.
Mr. Mason?
Aye.
Mr. Swanson?
Aye.
Mr. Twist?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Next up, Andrea, with the rubric for initial financial response.
Vice President Lee, members of the board. Under the board's financial performance framework, board staff will review the initial financial response submitted by a charter holder assigned an intervention summative financial performance rating and prepare a report. An intervention rating is assigned when a charter holder either has one or more measures rated below standard or 3 consecutive years in adequate standing. Pursuant to the board's administrative rules, board staff's report on the initial financial response will answer 4 questions and briefly explain the basis for each question's answer. The 4 questions are: 1, is there a sound explanation for why the charter holder underperformed on the financial framework's measures? 2, did the charter holder perform at a level just below or well below the financial framework's measure targets? 3, in what there's underperformance on the financial framework's measures, and are they realistic to implement? After receiving only 1 public comment, the board directed staff at the September meeting to provide stakeholders with an additional 5-day window for public comment on the rubric. During this additional opportunity for public comment, the board received 5 public comments which were included with the meeting materials. I'm available for questions.
Board members, did you have any questions? Is there a motion?
Okay. I move that the board adopt the rubric that board staff will use to review the initial financial responses presented to the board today and found in the materials for today's board meeting, and direct staff to update the relevant documents to reflect the board's action at this meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Close. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Twist?
Vice President Lee?
Aye.
Superintendent Hoffman?
Aye.
Dr. Crockett?
Aye.
Mr. Close?
Aye.
Mr. Mason?
Aye.
Mr. Swanson?
Aye.
Mr. Twist?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Great. Okay, moving on. Academic eligibility criteria for expansions. I think, Joanna, you're going to tell us about that.
Vice President Lee and board members, today you're going to be considering a modification to the academic performance eligibility criteria for expansions. At the board's August 12, 2019 meeting and at a subsequent meeting with stakeholders on August 26, 2019, the board heard concerns from schools that are identified as a comprehensive support and improvement school, also known as a CSI school. Specifically, charter holders that operate an alternative school identified for CSI solely based on a low graduation rate, expressed concerns regarding the criteria that is used to identify CSI schools. Based on feedback, board staff is proposing the following changes to our current policy. One of the changes is determine the academic performance eligibility for all expansions requests based on the school's letter grade of A, B, or C, and on confirmation that the school is not designated for comprehensive support and improvement based on low achievement, and receives a rating of 66% or higher on the On Track to Graduate measure as calculated by the 2019 A through F letter grade accountability system that is used for alternative schools. Staff recommends that this draft be open for public comment from October 16th to November 5th, 2019. And after all comments have been reviewed, staff will develop a final recommendation of this policy for the board's consideration at its November 19, 2019 meeting. I'm happy to answer any additional questions.
Any additional questions, board members? No, and I know that this is where the concern we're potentially including traditional online schools as well
Correct.
wanted to happen, and so we'll make sure that we have those meetings to present more of that data, to you guys when finalizing this. So
Yes, I will
Yeah.
make sure that.
perfect. And so do we need a motion to put it on to get public comment, to request for public comment? Do we need a motion for that? Okay. Is there a motion?
Just put it up for public comment? Or?
We don't have motion.
Yes, it would be just to approve for public comment based on the timeframes that I've given in the report. Would that be sufficient? Okay.
I move to approve to put it up for public comment.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second with Mr. Twist.
Vice President Lee,
Aye.
Superintendent Hoffman,
Aye.
Dr. Crockett,
Aye.
Mr. Close,
Aye.
Mr. Mason,
Aye.
Mr. Swanson, Mr. Twist.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right. 2020 board meeting calendar, Miss Rachel.
Good morning. The calendar before you today mirrors the calendar that was approved and used in fiscal year 2019. This calendar places board meetings at times when it is most appropriate for requests to come before the board, in that it places approvals for expansion requests on the agenda at times that allow charter holders adequate time to implement those requests. The calendar also provides submission windows for charter holders to submit requests that will be before this board in order to be slated for a specific agenda as specified by the timeframes laid out in rule.
Board members, any questions about the calendar? And just, Rachel, this does appear to follow exactly what we've done this last year. Is that correct?
It is almost exactly. I think the only marked difference is November, because that agenda involves the audits and when you consider late audits. So we moved that, but when moving it, it ended up on Thanksgiving week. So we chose to bump it to the Friday before to allow a little bit more time for you guys to enjoy your Thanksgiving break.
Okay, perfect. All right. Is there a motion?
I move that the board adopt the board meeting calendar for FY 2020.
Thank you, Mr. Close. Is there a second?
Second.
I think
can
Mr.
have
Twist
that
got
one.
it.
She can
Oh,
have
okay. Dr. Crockett with the
Dr.
second.
Crockett gets it.
Vice President Lee,
Aye.
Superintendent Hoffman,
I think I beat President Sussman's time for a board meeting. So, all right. So with that, we have no other business.
No.
All right, we're adjourned.
Right.
Here.